Evolve ensure grittiness.
It starts with an attitude. We need swagger, okay? Regardless of what happens out there. Doesn't matter. Keep your swagger.
Hey, everybody. This is 5-Hole Fantasy Hockey. I'm Zach Vogel. With me today, Mike Rogerson. What's up?
I'm stoked, actually. It's snowing.
What are you stoked about?
It's snowing.
You don't get a lot of snow, so I could see how that would be, at least somewhat exciting. You get more snow than we do. I guarantee you that, though.
Vancouver is the least Canadian city in all of Canada. We barely get any snow, but it's snowing a lot right now. But I'm actually stoked about is I found a new place down the road. I was waiting for my kid to get an art class. Nice charcuterie board.
Everybody likes a charcuterie board. What was on? Hey, just because I'm a French chef, what was on this charcuterie board?
There was some kind of blue that was nice. There was some kind of smoky cheddar-ish kind of cheese on there. There was obviously some salamis, I believe it's prosciutto. Is that the really thin, salty one?
Well, there are a lot of thin, salty ones.
That's true.
But prosciutto is one of them. Sure, I could definitely see prosciutto being on there. Well, that's cool, man. I'd like to think that my charcuterie board could stand up against that one that you just had.
I bet it would.
I got honeycomb on mine. You ever have honeycomb?
Oh,
it's friggin' delicious.
Absolutely. We actually have a craft honey shop because it's North Vancouver. And I do get some honeycomb, actually. It's excellent. We haven't hit the intro and we're off track again.
Well, hey, you start talking about charcuterie boards and this podcast is going to change real quick. We are 5-Hole Fantasy Hockey. You can find us at FHF Hockey on Twitter. Discord. It's all about the Discord. Like I always say, this episode is pretty much, ran by you guys. We use your thoughts and your ideas on who to have this episode about. And the Discord helps that. So moving on, we got our Tuesday Trends episodes. So on our Tuesday Trends episodes, we're talking about hot guys with the hot guy check-in, and then we're doing cold streaks as well. And like I said, it's all who you guys want to talk about. Luckily, a lot of the guys that you want to talk about are guys that I want to talk about too. But we always have to get out of the way, Raj.
Bad vibes.
Bad vibes. We got to get these bad vibes out of the way. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, Raj.
You gotta rise above it. You gotta harness in the good energy, block out the bad.
I'm a mouth breather in general, so it's going in and out of one way. I got a deviated septum like you read about. Teuvo Teravainen, starting off. He could have possibly returned today. It did not happen. They did end up winning, luckily. Kochetkov looked good, in my opinion. He did let in a shit goal at the beginning of the game, and then the Hurricanes all together let in a crappy goal in the last minute of the game. But luckily, they did pull it out in overtime. But Teuvo Teravainen did not play. Going to a guy that did play, Johnny Gaudreau was a game time decision and did play. He was out with an illness originally, but he had a goal and an assist in that game, which is pretty cool. Adam Fox, he did not practice Sunday, but he did play in last night's game and also got a point. He got an assist. Gabe Vilardi is day-to-day. I know we just talked about him very recently, and I said you should drop him then. He is definitely a drop now, especially if he's going to be day-to-day, on top of the fact that, he is on a cold streak. Like I said, when he gets back on it, you can look at him, keep an eye on him. Keep him on your watch list. I'm not saying he's not at least a watch list guy, but he is a drop. And that's just a fact, especially now that he's day-to-day. So you got to get him off your team, but he is going to be available for pickup. So be aware. Travis Konechny, he was placed on IR today, so he won't be back for a bit. Cam Atkinson, however, was cleared for contact in practice, so he should be back very soon. He did not play in tonight's game. But Raj, we're looking at, I just want to say, Kevin Hayes, I know that the Flyers suck, but Kevin Hayes still scoring points, man. It almost seems like, I know TJ would love this, but he's not here to slap me on the wrist, but someone's got to score. Looks like it's Kevin Hayes.
Well, if it's not Konechny, it's going to have to be somebody because he was doing it previous.
Well, it's definitely not Konechny, and it's definitely not Cam Atkinson. But I'm looking forward to Cam Atkinson getting in there and what he can do in towards his offense. So next up, Mario Ferraro, one of our favorite Bang Daddies here. He did not play in their last game, but he is traveling with the team on their road trip. So, I mean, you got to think he's coming back really soon. Like I said, he did not play in the last game. I would think he should be back very soon, so you could find your bangs there. Robert Thomas, he is out for last night's game with lower body injury.
I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell, I know right now.
And he leads the Blues with 19 points. Robert Thomas, I mean, we did kind of peg him as the top point getter there for the Blues. And so far, even though they suck, it looks like it's still him. Lastly, and this one is kind of actually going to move us right into, I want you to know this, Raj. So we're going straight from one segment right into the other. And that's because we're talking about Akira Schmidt. He is out with an illness right now, which is seeing Nico Dawes take the backup role right now in New Jersey. Dude's been on fire, man. And I don't know if it's me wanting to see that goalie search since Martin Brodeur finally come to an end. But, you know, and I know this is way soon. And I know he's going back to the NHL because that is going to happen. You have to understand that even though Akira Schmidt is playing fantastic, they still have Bernier and Blackwood, you know, under contract. And when those players come back, I mean, you got to think, what, Blackwood's coming back at the end of December, something like that. Sometime in December, you would think, if not by the very beginning of next year. And you have Bernier coming back too. Vanacek is making $3.4 million a year. There's going to be no room for Akira Schmidt, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have a serious feeling they're going to try to move Blackwood. He was only around for 4 games, but he was 880 save percentage. He was not it. And the other two guys, Vanacek's rocking a 923 over 11 games, and Schmid's at a 953 undefeated. It's only 4 games, but he is kicking ass, man. I hope he doesn't get the shaft, you know? That sucks when a guy comes up and...
It's the money, though. It's the money. They still have to pay that money.
You're paying the money either way, whether he plays or not, and you're winning if Schmid plays. Pay some money, get some wins, or pay some money and get some losses. But I don't know. Hopefully Blackwood can get it together, but it is going to be hard cheese for Schmid, I think. I just hate seeing that, you know, when you get a goalie who comes in. I mean, you could not do better than he's doing, and then he's just going to get sent down when a guy who's not playing well comes back just because he's supposed to, you know? It's the way she goes.
That's the way she goes. That's the way she goes? That's right. That's the way she goes.
But here's the whole thing, Rod. He is 4-0. He is 4-0. Like you said, he has a 953 save percentage, 124 goal against, and a 1,000 quality start percentage. But that's not it. For once, I'm going to bring TJ's, you know, extra bullshit into this. But it's the fact that he's stopping things. High danger chances, he has 0 goals let in allowed from high danger. His good quality chances, 1. He has 1 goal in 23 good scoring chances. The way I see it is, so you have Nico Dawes and Akira Schmidt, both becoming RFAs after next season. It's shit or get off the pot time, right? Like, you have to see what you have. You can't keep these guys in the AHL all forever.
I know, he's 22 years old.
Okay, so for me, in all honesty, while it lasts, I am down for an Akira Schmid stream, like 100%. Mm-hmm. But the whole thing is, you have to understand, when Bernier and Black, like, I could see them moving one of those goalies for sure. I get it. But at the same time, I don't see he has such a path to get to the NHL and stay there this year that I more see them taking that step next year. Because I feel like they've seen what they really need to see, and that is that he can hack it. Vanacek is the guy. You can't just bring somebody else in, really be stoking that fire, kind of. Don't get me wrong. I want to see him get the shot, too. But at the same time, I'm at least a realist, and I see the pathway to get there. It's just like when we're looking at, third or fourth line players with 2 or 3 really good players in front of them that you're like, man, it's hard to see that pathway to the top line, or it's hard to see that pathway to the top power play. For Kier Schmid, it's hard for me to see that pathway to the NHL. Now, next year is a different year, and he is really good, and I think he is going to get much more of a chance next year, on top of the fact that they have to figure out what they have in both him and Nico Dawes as they're both becoming, restricted free agents.
Well, I mean, New Jersey's hot as hell, so chance it could be he's getting lucky on a really hot team, but his numbers are better than the other goalies who are playing, so he's doing something right.
Okay, so let's move on here, because I feel like we have reached some sort of a stalemate, and I feel like somehow we're both saying the same thing but still disagree. So hopefully we both agree on JGP, which I think is feasible. Because I know I love JGP. So whenever he's doing good, I'm in on it. Always have been, always will. He has 3 goals in his last 3 games. Playing really well.
I have a soft spot for JGP because he brought me the coolest intro we've ever had on this show. Ever since then, I've liked him. But he brings a lot, right? He is a guy, if you do happen to stream him or ride him for a while, he's bringing you hits. He gets some blocks. He's not totally reliant on his goals. Which is, I just like that whenever that's possible, right? At least you get something out of him. He's good. He's getting some playing time. He's almost at 18 minutes, which is kind of the max you're allowed in the Islanders, right? They don't like to run anybody too hard, but I'm all over him if you need a center, and that's just the one thing. He's also basically taking every face-off. If you're playing in a face-offs league, he's got almost double Brock Nelson, who's got the next amount, and he's got...
and he's pretty damn decent at face-offs, too.
Oh, yeah. And he's taken 5 times as many face-offs as Barzal, so... Yeah, if you're in a face-offs league, I would be probably holding JGP until he starts to really eat it. But if you're in a categories league with face-offs, he's giving you the hits, he's giving you face-offs, and then he has these streaks of points.
As much as I don't want to, because I always feel like we have to, I guess over the years, TJ has rubbed off on me. I got to put TJ's cold water on a little bit of everything. And here I think it's the shots. I'm so worried about these JGP shots. Dude, he has 2 or fewer shots, including tonight's game, because I had to amend the notes to include tonight's game. He has 2 or fewer shots in 18 out of 24 games this year. Let me just read you his last 10 games. So we'll go 10 games back. 1 shot on goal. 1 shot on goal. 5 shots on goal. 1 shot on goal. 5 shots on goal. 2, 1, 2, 0.
Yeah.
That's awesome that, yes, you have 2 5-shot on goal games in there. Number one, those are the only 2 of those he's had this season. But he has so many games where he either has 2 shots on goal or more than not, 0 or 1. He has more of those games than any other kinds of games. 0 or 1 shots on goal. And as much as I do like JGP, and I'm down for, always down for having him on my team for at least some point in time, I'm always down to trade JGP too. When he has these little streaks where he is going off and getting a whole bunch of points in a short amount of time, that is the time to move off of him. I am down for having him on my team, but I'm always down for having him on your team too, and me trading him to you.
It does make a big difference what kind of league you're in, because if you're needing shots, it's a crapshoot, like you said. Like, you might have 5, you might have probably going to have 0. But if it's like I said, if you're valuing other stuff, face-offs, hits, then it kind of eases the pain a little bit.
He is three hits a game. I'll give you that one. I will 100%. I'll give you that one. He has more hits per game than shots on goal per game, like by a large margin.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's got really good value in a categories league that has the face-offs, etc. But if you're in need of shots, I would probably go somewhere else. Like, if you're trying to stream somebody to catch up on shots, he's a risk in that department for sure.
Okay, another one of our 5-hole guys, and that's Matty Beignet.
Yay.
Matty Beignet on the hot guy check-in. Hot guy check-in. Nice. Let's do it, Matty Beignet. Or, for you non-believers, Matty Beniers. 2 goals and 7 assists in his last 4 games. All doing it from the second line and the second power play. This is one of those things where you got to strike while the iron's hot. Because just as we, kind of doused a little cold water on JGP for shots, honestly, I could do the same damn thing for Matty Beniers.
Yeah, he's not a shooter. Definitely not a shooter.
Yeah, well, a 20% shooting percentage says that he's a shooter, Raj.
Quality shots. But he's we were talking about the whole team before we hit record tonight, and he's on the hot streak right now. Someone is always on a 2-game hot streak in Seattle, but it never seems to go longer than 2 or 3 games, right? Like, they have a whole team of second power play guys, it seems like. What is it tonight? It's at the end of the second, and they scored 8 goals tonight so far. What? Seattle. This is the team we thought was going to be super defensive and goalie heavy. And here's Matty Beniers with another 2 goals tonight. 4 shots. Guys got to shoot more. 5 shots now.
5 shots.
There we go.
5 shots on goal. But okay. But it's always someone different. And I want to, I'm down to stream Matty Beniers. But at the same time, I'm down to stream, you're not going to stream Burakovsky, but like, I'm down to stream Eberle, who had 3 assists. I'm down to stream Justin Schultz, who had 3 assists. It's always someone different. Yanni Gord will go on a week-long hot streak where he scores 3 goals and 4 assists in 4 games. Like, that's the thing. It's always someone different, and that's something that kind of sucks about Seattle.
Yeah,
is you can't really pinpoint who the player. I know that this guy is going to get points.
Most of their team is like really solid hockey players with no, like, looking at this streak he's on now, Beignet might end up a superstar, but dude's got 11 points in 4.5 games here. But before that, he went 7 games without a point. And in those 7 games, he didn't even total 7 shots. So that's the problem with Seattle. You can see why everybody's so lowly owned, because you pick him up on a hot streak and then you get like a month's worth of nothing.
But that's great. At the same time, that's why we're in the hot guy check-in right now. Hot guy check-in. Matty Beignet is, he's a hot guy right now. Like you said, 2 more goals tonight. That's pretty damn fantastic. He is gonna slow down, and slow down fucking tough. I can only imagine. That's when you get these guys. That's when you stream these guys. He's available. Go out and stream him, and then drop his ass.
Yeah, I like it. I like him. I think he's a legit player. Like, he seems like he's super young. He's probably going to be streaky, but I think long term, I think he is a legit player. We're talking about streaks right now. It's not really the point, but I do like the way he looks.
Oh, I definitely think that he's, good enough to be playing in the NHL. Like, don't get me wrong. I like Matty Beignet a lot, but that doesn't mean I'm not I'm always going to be a realist.
18 points in 21 games. That's pretty sharp.
Fantastic. Next up, another one of my guys. This is like my favorite. This is honest to God, like with these hot streaks. For the most part, these are you guys choosing them. Man, you guys did a great job of picking all of my favorite friggin' players because, you know, we're going another back-to-back on these next ones. Matt Boldy. Like I've said before, Matt Boldy is my Patronus. 3 goals and 2 assists in 3 games. Unfortunately, all on 5 shots on goal. Man, it's this whole fucking Hawkeye check-in all has this just shots on goal dismal part. But still, Matt Boldy, a ton of goals, a ton of, a decent amount of assists in a couple of games, all on 5 shots on goal. Again, he is on line 2, power play 2 right now. 19 minutes time on ice, and I think that's what kind of keeps me in love with this one here. It's the 19 minutes time on ice. I like that a lot.
I like it, and I really like Boldy. I was curious to see what happened after, the lineup changes and stuff this year. He kind of lost his buddy, and I was expecting him to find a new place. It seems like he is because he had these 5 points in the last 3 games. But, eerily similar to Mr. Beignet. Previous to that, 6 games with nothing. So he's up and down as well, but I feel like Boldy is a little bit more he's a little more NHL ready. I think he'll probably settle into a decent pace for a while right now. Like I believe maybe not, a goal per game like he's doing at the moment, but I think he's a keeper for a bit here.
Not a goal per game, yes, but I will say I do believe in Matt Boldy more than I believe in Matty Beignet.
And they got Edmonton coming up, which you can score on, Anaheim, which you can score on, Dallas, which you can't score on. Yeah, he's got a couple more games here where he can build up some confidence and probably pull in a few more points. And the way Minnesota's been this year, they got to ride people who are hot because they were kind of floundering for a while.
Yeah, they're a little underwhelming this year. But you still gotta say, dude is still on a 62-point pace for the year. That's pretty fantastic. He's, great on the power play. 8 of his 16 points so far this year are on the power play. 3 goals, 5 assists, all from that number 1 power play. He stays on that number 1 power play. I'm still incredibly interested because that number 1 power play still has Kirill Kaprizov on it. And other solid players. Like, if he is on that number 1 PP, I dig it. I don't care about the line 2 as much because they do rotate lines a lot. But that power play, I care about.
Yeah, Kaprizov is a legitimate elite player. He can score any given time. And for whatever reason, him and Zuccarello really mesh. And
yeah, they do.
I thought it was kind of a fluke. It's weird. Like Zuccarello went a few years with just being very underwhelming. And then I thought it was kind of, he just hit it off so well with Kaprizov. I didn't expect it to last, but it's legit. I mean, not like you can get Zuccarello, but if Boldy can be around that.
Y'all made fun of me. When I talked about Matt Zuccarello at the beginning of this year. Y'all made fun of me. The pigeons are going to come home to roost. I want you to know that, Raj. We're going to get to start off on this next guy because it's another one of my guys. I love this. Jeek is up. Joel Eriksson Ek. He was my streamer pick of the week last week, Raj.
He was.
He's on Hawkeye check-in. 2 goals and 5 assists in his last 5 games.
That's not too shabby, pal. I found myself in a few face-offs leagues this year, and he's another one. Extra points in that kind of league. He hits. He's getting power play. Not getting a ton of power play points, but he's definitely scoring points, even strength. And, he's doing all this stuff. Love that guy. It took me a long time to come around on him to believe that he was a decent player, and man, he sure is.
For once, we can actually say this on the Hawkeye check-in that so far this episode, but this guy actually does shoot. He actually does shoot. He has almost 3 shots on goal so far this year. He helps you out on hits. He helps you out on blocks in a big way. in a big way for the most part. The face-offs on there are there. He takes a ton of them. Now, he's never been over 50% on face-off percentage, but he does take a ton of face-offs.
Most of the leagues I've been in, nobody cares if you're any good at all. Most people just count face-off wins, so all that really matters in face-offs leagues is just that they take them. I haven't seen too many people like use percentage or include losses, so in most face-offs leagues, all that really matters is you get bulk and that you win some of them. And he definitely does that, you know.
I mean, so far this season, he has 191 losses. 185 wins in the face-off circle. Like last year, he had almost 1,400. Actually, he had more than 1,400. Almost 1,500 face-offs taken.
Anywho, yeah, I definitely agree on him. And in terms of like his pace that he's on, again, you're not really gonna, he's not gonna continue a 95-point pace, but he is. If you got him, hang on to it. I think he's a legitimate player, and Minnesota seems to be figuring things out a bit. So I would, I'd believe him. Again, don't expect too much, but yeah, I mean he's a real player. I like him.
Okay, so if we're going that way, now another guy that I just suggested was Rasmus Sandin, and it like we said. It was because he was getting that power play up at Toronto. I just want it to be known that last night he got a goal and assist. And the assist was on the power play. The goal was at even strength. The assist on the power play. All I want to say, it's exactly what I said. It's exactly what we said was going to happen. I know that's not a hot streak. I know one game isn't a hot streak. But I feel like I'm on a hot streak a little bit here, Raj.
I'm generally not an arrogant guy, as long as you don't ask my wife.
I am a very arrogant person. I don't know if that's believable for you. I love me some me.
I'm looking, when I was looking over the hot streaks for this today, looking through different people who've been doing well, man, we've been knocking it out of the park. I gotta say, the trouble is I've been knocking it out of the park. So have you, with suggestions on the show, but not on my own team. So I got to start taking my advice before I say it on the show, because half of the time I'm saying these guys and I go, I'll grab them in the morning, and I go to pick them up and shit.
I think the real trouble is that I'm JGP style streaky. I might have a lot of really good ones like lately, but I'm telling you, Raj, I'm gonna start slumping. I might have that mid-season slump,
Yeah, I'm Sandin. Like you said, it's not a streak, but I think it could be the start of a streak, and it's probably going to last exactly as long as Morgan Riley's out, and he's on that power play because, Marner has got a point in all but one game so far this year. Yeah. He's on fire. Matthews has definitely found his stride again, and anyone in the vicinity is going to end up with some power play points. So yeah, definitely cool as long as he's got it. But once he's back down, second or third pairing, second power play, I'm out for sure. But in the meantime,
all right. Is there anybody else you got here for the Hawkeye check-in?
I got 3, and 2 of them are old as shit. They're both very similar, big old guys who have sucked for a while and are not sucking right now. Both of them. There was questions actually on the Twitter about these guys, Blake Wheeler being one of them. Someone had asked about him today, and I have him on one of my teams. I contemplated dropping him, and I thought, you know what? Nope, dude, glad I didn't.
No, it's been perfect because we've been talking about guys that don't shoot all episode long, and now we get to talk about Blake Wheeler, who doesn't shoot. So go on.
You can not pick him up because of the shots if you want, but you could pick him up because he's got 10 points in his last 5 games and 8 of them are at even strength, which, this is the thing about Blake Wheeler. He's had a few of these. He did it last year, like an epically cold start, And at the end of the season, he was exactly on his career point pace. This year, he had just a horrible, brutal start. He's gone on this crazy hot streak, and he is within .01 of his career point pace again. So Wheeler is definitely a guy who, in the course of a season, you can absolutely count on him, because he's been exactly the same every year. And then he had 2 years where he was playing with Line A and he got crazy 90-something points for 2 years. Every other year, he's been between .90 and .95 points per game. 100% reliable, same breakdown of goals and assists, same breakdown of power play points. The thing is, he does go on these like 20-game cold streaks, and then now, like, look at these last 5 games. He's got 10 friggin' points. It's like a few of these guys. I mean, that's why they're on the streak show here on the trends, because he definitely goes in huge trends. It's not like a game here, a game there. It's like huge, long, cold streaks, big, weirdly hot streaks, and he's on one right now. And they've got a good run. I mean, they got Columbus and Anaheim coming up for the next couple of games, so they can score. And, you know, Wheeler's only 44% rostered, even after going up a bunch today. People are picking him up right now because of his 4 points tonight. So I would, in terms of guys who you can stream here, I would get on him, especially with Columbus and Anaheim coming up, and then just see what happens, because it's hard to argue with those points right now. Like you said, his shots overall aren't great. He's another dude. Like tonight, 4 shots, 3 goals.
I can't believe it. I can't believe that he had 4 shots on 3 goals. But before this, so in 21 games played before today, he had 12 games where he had 0 shots on goal or 1 shot on goal. Over half the games he plays, he only has 1 shot on goal or less. That's friggin' nuts. He has a lower shots on goal per game this year than he has ever had in his entire career.
Yep.
Entire career.
Yeah.
Dating back to 08-09. Least amount shots on goal per game in his entire career this year. And no, I don't think that this is going to continue.
I 100% do. I mean, it's the exact same point pace he's been on for his entire career, and he's been doing it without shooting. I'm not like, he's not a keeper for me at the end of the season, but I'm definitely keeping an eye on him. I will drop him, but not until this stops. So yeah, I'm definitely riding it while it's there. He's a streamer level player, right? He's been under 50% rostered since about 2 weeks into the season. So, but I would treat him like a streamer. I'm not going to treat him like the 90-point Blake Wheeler of old, because I do suspect it'll drop off a little bit. But like I said, I mean, he's had the exact same point pace for almost every season of his career, so it's not that out of line. And if you think that one gets Zach all hot and bothered, the other guy on my list here is Jamie Benn.
Ugh. I didn't even write his name down here in the Hawkeye check-in.
Even hotter, even fatter, but even hotter. Dude is in the last 2 weeks, he's the second best player in the league, second only to Jason Robertson. I believe Jason Robertson a lot more than I believe Jamie Benn. He's been doing it on a very weird line. So I was thinking, like, he must be getting some time with Robertson or something, because of his they have very similar points over this big hot streak, but they're not playing together. Which, man, is that ever good for Dallas to have that going on? But so Jamie Benn's doing all this. He's scoring like mad. Like I said, he's tied with Sidney Crosby for second, right behind Jason Robertson. In the last couple of weeks, he's kind of been doing it all year. And listen to this line: it's Jamie Benn, Ty Dellandrea, and Wyatt Johnson. Those are his primary line mates.
I like Wyatt Johnston, though.
I know the whole line is clicking.
That's what I said. Like, I want him to not be on a line with Jamie Benn, so I don't have to like talk about them at the same time. So that's where I'm at with this.
I know it's happening. 26 points in 23 games for Ben on the season, which is double his points per game for the last 5 years. So I'd expect that to come down. In the last few, like right now, he's on a 93 point pace per 82 games. Last year,
It's a fact. He's also up over, he's up 200% from, his shooting percentage last year. He also has the highest shooting percentage of his entire career, dating back to 2009.
dude, he has a higher shooting percentage now than if you added last year and the previous year together.
Fact.
This year would still be higher.
Facts.
So, I mean, there's a few red flags here. He also has as many power play points this year as he did all of last season, and we're a quarter of the way in. So, yeah, there's some red flags here.
He also has the least amount of time on ice since he was a rookie.
So, similar to Wheeler, I mean, you got to grab him if he's available right now. But if you have Ben, or Wheeler for that matter, if you have either of those guys,
you got to trade him right now.
Sell high, and then lock your front door. When he comes back down to his usual 0.5 points per game pace that he's been living at for a while here.
It's craziness. He's doing stuff that he's never done in his entire career. And like the good things are he's never done it before. And the bad things are, he hasn't had this kind of thing since he was a friggin' rookie. Crazy. 19.2. I don't believe you, Jamie Benn. I don't believe in you.
Big, lumpy power forwards like that don't peak at age 33. That's just a hunch that this is. I think he's going to run out of gas real quick. So as much as I got to say, you got to pick him up if he's available, but pick him up and trade. If you can pull that sly dog move, pick a guy up off the waiver wire and immediately offer him for trades. But you can't say the guy's not doing it. But yeah, highest point pace of his entire career. So I just don't see how that can be true. Okay, I gotta get through one more because I have to bring up a hot Canuck while there is one. That seems to have already ended. They got hammered 5-1 tonight, so I think that was over. But Kuzmenko, guy is just lighting it up lately. It was a hot topic before the season. Is he going to be amazing? Dude's got 21 points on the season now, so he's almost a point per game. He was on a 5. Here's his last few games: goal and an assist. Game before that, 2 goals and an assist, 1 assist, goal and an assist, 2 assists. Speaking of guys who don't shoot. He got he got a goal on 1 shot, 2 goals on 3 shots. He got a goal on 4 shots. But yeah, he's definitely not a high volume shooter. He's a 0 volume hitter and a non-blocker. So he is absolutely a points league guy. If you're in a categories league, just stream but stay away. But man, if you're in a league that's heavy on the points, he's rocking a point per game right now. He's shooting up in ownership. He's gone up 17% since yesterday. He's up to 49%. But he is finding the vibes with Petey, with Patterson. Look what Patterson's doing this year. If only it was leading to something good for the team, that would be fantastic. But I would say grab Kuzmenko right now. They got some weak games coming up. They got Florida, who doesn't know who their goalie is. They've got Arizona, who doesn't really have a team. They've got Montreal, and then they've got San Jose. So now would be a good time to get him. And then after 3 or 4 games, maybe again try to trade. I don't see him being over 70 points on the season. But yeah, he is rocking right now.
All right, so that does for the Hot Guy check-in, and luckily, and I'm happy about it, that was actually like a decently long one. I like when the hot streaks are better than the cold streaks, because unfortunately, we're talking about a couple of my guys in these cold streaks too. So So moving to the cold streaks. Moving to the cold streaks here, Raj. First off, I want to bring up, your Calgary Flames. Tyler Toffoli, Nazem Kadri, Elias Lindholm. Toffoli here, I'll just give you a little bit of background. Toffoli, 1 goal in his last 6 games. In fact, strike that. He had a goal and assist tonight. He is the only player that actually, as far as points go, got anything tonight out of these 3 players. So he did it on a goal assist this last game. Kadri is now up to a 6-game pointless streak. Shots are solid, but Kadri is not doing well right now. And Elias Lindholm, he's now up to 5 games pointless. He was on fire before that, but he is cold as shit now. At least Toffoli got back with a goal and assist. He is the one guy that's actually shooting. What are your thoughts on these 3 people?
Well, I love it when Calgary's not doing well.
Fair enough. I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but you like the Flames being bad. I'm talking about, what do you think about these players?
Kadri was doing great. Until he's totally stopped doing great. And yeah, he's 7 games with just not much of anything. Still taking some shots, but they are not going in. Yeah, I don't know. I could see Kadri coming back for sure. I could see all of these guys bouncing back. I mean, Lindholm's too good. They're on a cold streak, obviously. They've lost. They had a good one tonight, but they lost the previous 3. Only 3 goals over their previous 3 games. Who knows? I think that might be turning around. They scored 6 tonight against Florida. They got a pretty weak schedule coming up.
They scored 6 tonight against Sergei Bobrovsky, who put up another roast beef sandwich. He's cutting roast beef for friggin' Thanksgiving. He had a 739 tonight. A 739, Raj.
Hey, it's a step up from his 600 that he put up the other night. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't count against Bobrovsky anymore. The guy, he shouldn't even bother suiting up anymore.
When you're getting paid that kind of money, I mean, they're going to trot you out. I don't care if I got to trot you out there and, tape you to the posts. Like Goldberg the goalie and friggin' Mighty Ducks. I'm just going to tape him up there for how much money he's making.
Sitting in Florida, $50 million. I mean, you could say that he's not feeling the urgency that he may have been feeling when he was a young up-and-comer in Columbus, getting beaten down by torts. And now he's just kind of relaxing. But at any rate, yeah, Calgary was super cold. All those guys were super cold. The guy who's been cold forever was Huberdeau. He got 2 points tonight. But I can't see Calgary staying bad, and I can't see all of their best players like this staying bad. And I mean, Toffoli's a bit weird on that team. He's not quite ever lived up to his potential on that team, I don't think. He's got goals in back-to-back games now. So maybe it's turning around. But his ice time, if you look over the last bunch of games, it's ranging from 13 and a half up to over 20 minutes. So Calgary's obviously trying to figure some shit out.
Well, he's taking 3 shots on goal per game. I like that. I think this is going to turn around. As far as hits and blocks, you're not getting damn near any blocks, but he's helping you out on hits a little bit. I do like Tyler Toffoli, personally.
Yeah, I'd go for him. I mean, I would honestly, if you can, I would consider buying low on Lindholm or Kadri if you're buying low, because they will turn it around from this batch of zeros they've been putting up.
All right, next up, Jake Gensel. In all honesty, I feel like maybe we can just skip this one. I don't even know why he's here. Why are we talking about Jake Gensel? He has 2 goals and 4 assists in his last 6 games. Somebody, please explain this to me here.
Yeah, dude's over a point per game on the season. He's well over a hit per game. He's shooting over 3 times a game. I don't know. I'm fine with Jake Gensel. He's got 3 points in the last couple of games. He went 2 games without a point and somebody freaked out, I guess. I mean, that's fair. Jake Gensel usually gets points in every game, but yeah, I mean, he had 2 games without a point.
He's over a point per game. Yes, I understand. And so the shots are down. I get it. The shots are down. In his past 5 games, he's, I don't think he even has over 10 shots on goal. That's not like him. He is around 2 shots on goal per game as of right now. But for the season, it's not like that. And it's not going to stay. He should not be in this segment. And I only wanted to put him in here just to bring that up. He's doing fantastic. And if anything, we talked about Brian Rust again, but we just talked about Brian Rust in last Tuesday Trend. So I didn't feel like doing it again.
I just want to bring up 2 things about Gensel just while we're on him. He's got 10 hits in the last 2 games. So that's cool.
Well, that's because he had 7 hits in the game before today.
Yeah,
that'll help. Right? That'll help you have 10 hits in 2 games.
I like seeing that as a sign of when guys are starting to, at least put in the effort. Whenever I see shots and hits start to trend up, that is a sign of effort, right? Shots and hits come from you, our givener. You can luck into an assist. You can maybe get a fluky empty net goal here and there. But when you see hits and shots on goal, that takes effort. And that, to me, is a good sign of when guys are at least getting their head back in the game or making an effort at it. But if you take a look at Jake Gensel's profile picture, you can't put him on the hot guy check-in ever.
Don't do Jake Gensel like that.
He's a wingman. We'll say that.
Hey, wingmen get their own too. Okay? That's just a fact. All right, next up, we are talking about my guy, Zach Hyman. Again, I get, he is maybe not living up to the potential that you drafted him at. But this dude just had 10 shots on goal 2 games ago.
He got 3 assists yesterday.
He just had 10 shots on goal. He had 3 assists yesterday. In the last 3 games, he has 18 shots on goal. Don't get your tits in a knot, boys. Don't get your tits in a knot, man. Come on. 18 shots on goal in 3 games is freaking ridiculous. Ridiculous. The goals are going to come.
Dude's playing 22 minutes a night. He played almost 24 in that game. He had 3 games with nothing. With guys like Hyman and some of these guys, Gensel, you cannot freak out if they have 2 or 3 bad games. They are going to make up for it in the next few games. It's one thing if a Kuzmenko is going point per game for a while, then yes, you can expect that to come down, or if he goes cold, you drop him. But if it's someone like Gensel or Hyman, I mean, you can't be even considering dropping these guys. I would not. And it's a rough time, if you're worried about a Hyman or a Gensel being cold, you can't trade them when they're cold, because then you're going to get burned. Make a trade, and then he's going to turn back into the point per game guy that these guys can be. So yeah, I am definitely not worried about Hyman. I'm definitely not worried about Gensel. God, that time on ice is insane. He's got to be playing with McDavid. I mean,
well, he's just a good hard-nosed player. That is his MO. He is a hard-nosed player. But man, he only has 8 games so far this year in 22 games where he hasn't gotten any points at all. The shots are ridiculous. There is no reason why you shouldn't still be interested in him. If you're thinking about trading him right now, then you don't deserve him in the first place. I'm still a big fan of Zach Hyman. The shots on goal, love him. He's not too much to get off of Zach Hyman.
Well, and he's not competing with Kane anymore because he's out long term. Puljujarvi is not really challenging anybody. He's not challenging anyone for top line minutes anymore. They're not really dicking around with any of those guys. It's Hyman's job, and he's a point per game, so he's not going to lose his job. He's doing great. And I love the dual eligibility because that's always helpful. What's he got? 28 hits, so he's well over a hit per game too. Over 3 shots a game. Fuck yeah! Stop freaking out, man. But you know who does suck?
Who's that?
Tyson Barrie. You can talk about Tyson Barrie. 13 points in 22 games. He got a goal last game. Previous to that, he went 5 games without doing anything whatsoever. And then he had 2 goals that game. So, yeah, Barrie is, I would say he's totally droppable, actually. If you could muster up a trade do it.
Just on name recognition alone. He's another guy that like he is shooting though.
Yeah, but he doesn't get like he draws the line at 1 block a game. He doesn't he'll get you 1. He doesn't rack up the peripherals in any way, shape, or form. He's playing on the Oilers and not getting points. He's pretty much the power play guy. They give Bouchard the odd chance, but not really. It's pretty much Barry, and he's only got 2 power play points as far back as you can scroll here. So it's,
7 of his points are on the power play this year. 7 of his 13 points. Is that too many for you?
Yeah.
Like, because that's the whole thing. If he wasn't on that power play, he'd be having a ridiculously just awful fucking season.
Yeah, and he's just an anomaly. Like, he's playing, like, last game he played 23 minutes, did nothing. A couple of games back he played 13 minutes and got 2 goals. If it's me, I am looking elsewhere. If it's a categories league, I'm not even hesitating to drop Barry. If it's a points league, probably still. I think you could make more points out of a streamer spot than out of Tyson Barry.
It's crazy to say because you wouldn't think that the power play quarterback for the Edmonton Oilers is droppable. But you heard it from Raj. He said it. Facts. All right, let's keep it with the defenseman here for a little bit. Tony DeAngelo, now up to a 6-game pointless streak. Still great for shots on goal for a defenseman, and gets a ton of time on ice. But the Flyers are bad, and I mean, we kind of put it down to it looks like Kevin Hayes is the guy, and I don't want to say drop Tony DeAngelo either, because in my eyes, it's really hard to drop a first power play defenseman. A number 1 PP guy. Like, it's hard for me to do that. I'm not going to lie to you. As much as I can't stand Tyson Barrie, it's hard for me to drop him because he's on the first power play. Same thing goes with Tony DeAngelo. What are you doing with Tony D?
Currently wondering why he didn't play. He's got an O on Yahoo right now, and he didn't play against the Islanders. So maybe they dropped him. Maybe they picked someone else up off the waiver wire. I'm not sure. But it's power play 1D who shoots like that should be a no-brainer to keep. Tony D himself should be a no-brainer to keep. But man, what are you going to do? Of guys who are playing, he's the second leading scorer with 10 points in 22 games on that team. And I mean, the guy who was doing it was Konechny, and he's out. So he doesn't even have anyone to pass to anymore. I don't know why he's not playing here, but Tony D could, if you want to have huge balls, you might be able to buy super low if you think he's going to come back and get some points when he gets Atkinson and Konechny back. But man, he's 10 points in 22 games, under he's a half a hit a game, so he's not peripheраling. Going by the numbers, you have to drop Tony DeAngelo. Someone's going to pick him up, and then he's going to have a hot streak, and you're going to feel shitty. But I think it's probably wise to dump him right now and get points while you're waiting for him to heat up again. I don't see where they're going to come from.
I think that's a fair point, because that really is the problem with the Flyers. I mean, you don't know where these points are going to come from. You do have to think that I'm not going to lie, I do like Kevin Hayes. I think he is the best chance for points on that team on any given day. But I still find it hard to drop a number 1 power play defenseman. It just is. This is and here we are finishing up on maybe the biggest one here, and that's Victor Hedman. Like, people are going freaking nuts over this Victor Hedman, Mikhail Sergachev shit.
Yeah, well, it's pretty crazy. Hedman's tied with DeAngelo in points. Right? Like, DeAngelo is doing shitty on one of the worst teams in the league, and he's tied with Victor Hedman,
who is clearly on one of the best teams in the league.
I still stand by it. I think Victor Hedman is the best all-round defenseman in the league. He's not playing that way at this time. I mean, he's playing 24 minutes a night. He is getting some power play time, but Sergachev is playing just as much and playing way more on the power play and has literally doubling him in points.
I mean, Victor Hedman has 1 assist in his last 9 games. 9 games, 1 assist.
And you know what else, too? Sergachev has almost as many blocks and substantially more hits. I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to save some gas in the tank for playoffs or if he's nursing something, but this is very not Hedman. He's not like a Makar level points kind of guy, but he's usually very good in every area of the game. And right now he is not good in any particular area of the game. And
at least for Tony D, for the Flyers, you can say, hey, they don't score a lot. That's definitely a big reason why he doesn't get on these points. You know what the Lightning don't do? Not score a lot. They score a ton. I know they only put up 1 goal against the Bruins yesterday, but man, before that, 6 goals, 5 goals, 3 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals, 6 goals. Like those are just the past couple of games.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him, man. I would be putting it on the line and trying to buy super low right now. And if you can, I would say you have to take that risk, because I don't really consider it a risk. I mean, even though he's had this slow start, if you don't have him right now, you have got to bypass that slow start. And if you could pick him up right now, there's no way a guy like that is going to play like this for an entire season. I absolutely cannot see that happening. So I think he is a prime buy low target right now. And I really feel for you if you drafted him in the 2nd or 3rd round, because...
Well, this is a guy that had 85 points last season. I mean, what do you expect?
Nobody expected this. But right now, like you said, like our Discord, like half of the questions and half of the talk is about Victor Hedman for the last week.
What am I doing with Victor Hedman? What am I gonna do? You're gonna fucking hold on to him is what you're gonna do. Because if you're trading him away, then you're not getting Victor Hedman back.
No.
You're not getting that level of player back. Like that level of player, like, you're thinking, hey, which defenseman, like last year, you were thinking, which defenseman am I gonna keep this year and roll into next season with? And it was like, do I want Roman Josi or do I want Victor Hedman? And like you really had to think about it. And likely you could have chose Victor Hedman because he is just steady as she goes. Then all of a sudden, the friggin' bottom falls out, and he has a 2.5 shooting percentage. This shit is crazy, He's shooting around. In all honesty, the same as he usually does. They're just not going in. So you'd have to think they're going to go in. I agree with you. He's got to turn this thing around. It's hard to believe that wouldn't happen.
I would bet heavily that he's going to. He's just too good, and he's never been bad. It's not like he's a streaky guy. It's not like he's on a bad team that he depends on. He doesn't even depend on the power play. Like, he gets a lot of power play points, but he gets a lot of everything usually. But I think a huge thing to think about with it, especially with a guy like Hedman, is if you have him right now, you have to kind of ignore the first 20 games and think about, what do you think he's going to do for the last 60 games? Do you think he's going to be 39-point pace Victor Hedman? Or do you think that he's actually probably, by the end of the season, going to end up having a reasonable overall numbers, which means the second half or from here on out, at some point soon, he's probably going to go back to a really good pace and end up with some overall decent numbers. but he's already had the shitty part of his season. I'm going on record, I guess, right now. I'm saying that he's already had the shitty part of his season, and it won't last.
I'd have to tend to agree with you. On this last one, I just want to flow through this last one real quick, just because it was something I wanted to kind of bring up. I know a lot of people are, upset about Oliver Bjorkstrand this year, and, in his first year in Seattle, all of these other players are, doing so fantastic and everything like that. And, really kind of, they're going games above replacement this year. Like they just are as a team. They're, just better than we rightfully thought they were going to be. Not that we thought the Oliver Bjorkstrand was going to be bad, but his shooting percentage is way down. It is the lowest of his career at 3.4%. He has a career average of 11.5. Like, he is a good shooter. Still, he has 11 points in 21 games. I'm not saying that's fantastic, but what I'm saying that if you have 11 points in 21 games and you're shooting at the lowest shooting percentage of your entire career, it's going to go back up. What's going to regress to the mean, Raj? That shooting percentage. All that says to me is that he is going to start getting goals. What did I say? He is at so far this season, at 49 point pace, I think I said to you.
Something like that.
However, he has also scored 20 goals in 3 seasons so far in his career. He's had, double-digit goals in the last 5 seasons. Even if he gets back up to double digits and a reasonable double digits, we'll just say 15. We'll just put it right in the middle, between 10 and 20, 15 goals. As of right now, he's at 49 points. You add those extra goals in there, all of a sudden he becomes a, 60-plus point player. That doesn't sound so bad. It's going to regress back to the mean on that shooting percentage. He is not what you're seeing right now with only 2 goals on the year in 21 games. All right?
But also, he's got 2 goals in the last 4 games. So maybe now is the time. It looks like he recently got his PP slapped because he was up around 16, 17 minutes. In the last 4 games, he got dropped down and he hasn't hit 13 minutes. He's been in the 12s. And since then, it looks like he's been pouring it on because he does have 3 points in the last 4 games. He got a goal tonight, one of the 9-8 game, by the way, against LA tonight, which oddly enough, Seattle, man, I know we've talked about them a bunch tonight, but 9 goals tonight, 5 last game, 4 before that, 8 before that, and they are on a 6-game winning streak. So yeah, I think
that'll happen when you score that many goals.
It tends to.
You better be on a 6-game winning streak if you've scored that many goals.
They squeaked out a win with 9 goals tonight, though. But yeah, I mean, no, I think you're right. I think Bjorkstrand, like we said, all of Seattle seems to go in these waves, and he is picking up right now. He was pretty cold for a while, but it seems like he's picking it up right now, and just the team is absurdly good this year. I don't know what the hell's going on, but they are. So I'm, you can pick up Bjorkstrand. He's only 14% rostered right now, so.
My guy Martin Jones did not enjoy this 9-8 game. I will say that. I'm glad, and I'm sure he's happy he got the win. That's what really matters. But my guy Martin Jones did not enjoy the 8 goals against.
This is what he managed to keep over a 900 from the season. That to me is shocking for Martin Jones. So he's over the season, he's actually been pretty decent. He's been actually in the last month, he's been great. However, even in these he's played 3 out of the last 4 games for them, and he's got an 808, an 862, and a 771 in his last 3 wins. So he's only winning because they're scoring 8 and 9 goals a game. But yeah, Bjorkstrand, I think, is still a viable streamer.
I want you to know this. As much as I said, yeah, he didn't enjoy that 8 goals against, Martin Jones had a better day today with getting 8 goals scored upon him than Sergei Bobrovsky did. That is a fact. Martin Jones's 771 was like way better than Sergei Bobrovsky's day, because he let up 6 goals in only 23 shots. At least, Martin Jones got at least, peppered a little bit on the net. Like, they put a bunch of shots on net. So, Martin Jones better than Sergei Bobrovsky. Who would have thought? That's the end of the cold streaks, man. That's the end of the cold streaks. It's a decent Tuesday trends with the hot guy check-in and some cold streaks. Once again, we are 5-Hole Fantasy Hockey. Again, you can find us at FHF Hockey on Twitter. Join us on the Discord. Come give us some 5 stars. Like, other than that, Raj, we're gonna see you back here for we're gonna be back for the weekend preview. Those are always fun. We're gonna have might have some Wednesday mailbag coming up here. Throw some stuff into the Discord. Come join us on Discord. Get in on these channels. Find the fun ones. I definitely have my favorites, that's for sure. Other than that, Raj, love you. TJ, love you. Everybody else, love yous.
Love you.